Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Bahashim Rachakodash. My name is Jacobo from Plaintables Camp. And, the spirits are high over there in the east, in Iran and state of Israel, that whole area. And there's talk about another U.S. attack on Iran. Of course, this is for the interests of, that state over there, people that claim to be the Israelites. And it's a trap. It's a trap. I'm watching videos, watching military strategists and, commentators, and they're saying, if they go into Iran, they put troops down, which I don't think they are. They're going to just keep, bombing certain places. They're not going to leave. So, the Third World War, pursuant to the book of Joel, is going to be over there in the east. So we'll see how this plays out. Iran conflict. Let's listen in.
Law Jared Kushner participated in indirect talks with Iran's foreign minister in Oman today.
Kushner, I believe, is Donald Trump's son-in-law. I forget which one. He's one of these suits. Either this guy here or this guy here. I don't think he's in the military, so I think he's the guy here. Oh, you can't see the pointer. One of the dudes in the suits, either from the left side, the one on the far left, then you got the military guy, and then you got the one right there. I think it might be the skinny guy right here. I think he's married to Trump's daughter, Ivanka, if I'm not mistaken. All right, so.
After several weeks of escalating tensions between Washington and Tehran, Iran's foreign minister is saying the talks were, quote, lengthy and intensive and calling it a good start. Those meetings coming as President Trump is ratcheting up pressure on Iran, with the top U.S. military commander in the Middle East participating in the talks today, while the president's so-called massive armada heads towards Iran. Hours after those talks concluded.
What they've been doing, they've been just doing the air raids, the bombs, because they got to commit, hundreds of thousands of soldiers, through the mountains to actually do a ground invasion if they actually want some type of actual regime change. So there's different theories going on about what they're planning. But, on one level, they are working together, and other levels, they're, mortal enemies. So, the book of Revelation tells us that he causeth the whole world. You go to Revelation 13. Let's go down to, you should know where it's at. Or understand the words by now. It says, 16th verse, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads. So that means Iranians are going to be getting the microchip too. That's what the ultimate goal of control is. That's what it's leading to. Because once they already have the power. They have the money, meaning they have the dollar that's circulating around the whole world. Now, all they need now is total control. Fear, pain, and suffering. This is how these elite people get off. All right, they get off on pain and suffering, blood. What does it say? Because thou hast blood shall pursue thee. You'll find that.
The State Department announced a new slate of sanctions targeting illicit Iranian oil and the shadow fleet Iran uses to transport that oil. Joining me now is Kareem Sajapur, Senior Fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. Thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. What are you hearing about today's meetings? Was any progress made?
I'm skeptical that progress was made, but for Iran, their goal was to avert.
I'm looking at that beak right there, so he might be one of them pretender Israelites. I'm not sure.
A U.S. military attack, and it seems for the moment the United States and President Trump are focused on this. States and President Trump are focused on this diplomatic process, but we know from history that President Trump, even when negotiations are happening, and it appears diplomacy is taking its course, is also prepared to take military action. So I think the Iranian regime cannot sleep too carefully at night.
Well, and I guess a lot of people are questioning what the ultimate goal is here. Is it about the nuclear program? Is it about regime change? How do you see this playing out ultimately?
The U.S. has outlined four major priorities with Iran. One is Iran's nuclear program. Another is its missile program. A third is its regional proxies. And the fourth is its internal repression. And Iran is sought to only talk about the nuclear file. And given how weak Iran is, both internally and externally, I think President Trump is expecting some pretty significant concessions from the Iranian regime, and so far they haven't offered anything meaningful.
You know, President.
I watched most of the video. They said he's going to say about the Mossad and the U.S. intelligence penetrating their government and everything like that. So they gotta revamp their military and their covert operations. They gotta go through them, control communications. You know, it's a way you can do that. You can purge out the leaven, so to speak. You know, but it's gonna take a while and control communications, and because it doesn't matter if, well, it does matter if you have people that are infiltrating your organization. It's just whether you can prevent them from communicating, getting the information out. If you can control the communication, they can be there. I mean, they can still sabotage stuff though. But you know, yeah, I found the scripture. It says Ezekiel 35, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. And this precept transverses time periods. And there was a time when this happened during the Babylonian, Assyrian empires, when they took us down and brutally slaughtered us and deported us. All right. Because we stopped adhering to the laws that were given to us, and we worshiped gods of the other nations and made up our own gods. So we were exiled, and they took advantage. Those nations took advantage of us. All right. And Esau helped them. All right. It says, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, and it's like it in time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith Lord Yahweh. I think it's Yahweh there. You can look it up. It's capital God. I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Sith thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. And Mount Seir is Esau, it's Edom. All right. Thus will I, this is Ezekiel 35 in the 7th verse. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate, and cut off from him that passeth out and him that returneth. All right. And this is you can read a couple of scriptures, but that's Esau going to be put down. All right. So there is no way that Esau can be forgiven. He's going into slavery. So he's going to fight tooth and nail to progress to his next evolution. All right. The technology. He's going to use his technology to oppress you, cause massive pain and suffering, because that's how he gets his enjoyment. He gets his enjoyment by mass pain and suffering. They already have everything. That's the only thing left. Total control.
Trump told my colleague Tom Yamas in their one-on-one interview this week that he believes that Iran is thinking about rebuilding its nuclear program. What do you know about the status of that? Has any reconstruction actually begun?
Iran's regime is so thoroughly penetrated by both U.S. and Israeli intelligence that they have to be very careful about reconstituting their nuclear program or making a dash for nuclear weapons, because
so the United States does interfere in other people's politics 100%. See, they just tell you, all right? But the stupid people will say, oh, well, they got to do it in this situation. They do it everywhere, okay? So United States Babylon, which is Babylon, the Babylon in the Bible, New Babylon, right? Spoken about in the book of Revelation. And it talks about it in the book of Jeremiah. All right. That uh, they're an accuser. They do the same thing which they accuse other nations of doing. They interfere in the politics of other nations.
They would more than
So
likely.
what that makes them liars. That makes them actors. They're acting. A lot of this is just political theater. Right? They're playing a part.
To get caught and potentially attacked. So what Iran has also been trying to do concurrently is to rebuild its missile program because it doesn't control its own skies. Its air defense system was destroyed last June. And that, I think, is the more likely avenue that Iran is going to prioritize to try to rebuild its missile program, which, ultimately that did prove far deadlier in its battle against Israel than its nuclear program.
Let me ask you, because just days before the talks, the Pentagon actually said that it shot down an Iranian drone that was aggressively approaching a U.S. aircraft carrier in the region. Do you still think some type of military action is on the table here?
I think the likelihood of military action is much higher than the likelihood of a diplomatic deal between the United States and Iran. President Trump issued at least on 8 occasions a warning to Iran that if they kill protesters, the United States would act.
Right, that's interfering in other nations' politics. So you can't. So United States, they'll still because they're the American exceptionalism. They have it's another term I'm forgetting. They feel they have the moral duty to tell other nations what to do, what's good and bad, spread democracy throughout the earth. This is just a guise, all right. Just like his ancestors, Antiochus Epiphanes, by peace he shall destroy many, all right. Democracy is just a model. It's not. It doesn't mean it's right. It doesn't. It doesn't come from God. All right. It's just something that they made up. The Greeks made it up. All right. The Japhites made it. All right. Then you had Israelites. Um, uh, help strengthen it and adapt it. And grow in it amongst the different Greeks city states. Namely Sparta. I'm sure other ones also. And I believe they were considered Dorians, Spartans. Different groups of Greeks. So the hypocrisy is great amongst these elderly devils. All right. And they work together, and some of them sometimes they have different factions amongst the Edomite elite.
And it would have their back. And Iran drove a giant truck through President Trump's red line. There's now a significant U.S. military buildup in the Middle East. And I'm skeptical that we're on the verge of a deal. I think we're more likely this could be a prelude to another attack on Iran.
What do you make of the fact that the U.S. military commander in the Middle East participated in the talks today with our final 20 seconds here?
It's a testament to the fact that the military option is still very much on the table. And in our relationship with Iran, economic coercion, political coercion, and military threats are a very strong part of the policy.
All right, Kareem Sajapur, thank you so much for...
All right, go back to the beginning. So you had the this Navy guy or something like that. Where's the guy at? Where he's sitting down. It's Navy guy. They're an Omen, Muscat. All right, I guess he's a Navy guy. And this is son-in-law, Trump's son-in-law. And I guess it's the Iranian diplomat right there.
In history that President Trump, even when negotiating...
Oh, no, that's an Edomite. That's an Edomite. Oh, somebody. Let me see. Where are you going to show the one? Where here? There we go. That's the Iranian. All these Iranians. Oh, I guess they came in at different times. Where they sitting? Yeah, I think they came in at different times because this is the guy on the far right. I guess he's the mediator in Oman, type of mediator. The guy in the white. All right. He could pass for a Jake too. Yeah, a lot of them, the Yemenites and Omanites, man. So I believe a lot of them are Israelites. The Yemenis and Oman. They a lot of them look just like Jakes, like Judah and uh Judah and Simeon. So I'll leave that there. Well, I was going to bring out act as a guard because everything's going to happen in due time. The Ezekiel 38, and I will put hooks in thy jaws. Let's go down to 7th verse, Ezekiel 38 and 7. All right, so Gog and Magog. 7th verse says, "Be thou prepared and prepare for thyself, thou and thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them." All right, so Iran is not going to fall until, well, it's not going to fall because Russia is going to back Iran up with their presence, their warships, nuclear batteries. They're going to do something, but in due time. But again, a lot of this is theater. We're watching theater. All right, they're talking to each other behind the scenes, and they're giving us another story. So, but they really do, despise each other on certain levels, because it is going to end in a third world war, which Babylon, America, and the state of Israel is going to be completely burnt, disintegrated. All right, so a sick game. I don't trust any of them. They're all liars. They're all witches. They all have secrets. They've all done abominable acts. So let's wait and see. Hope y'all edified. Shalom.